Hello folks, welcome back to Chris in Central Pennsylvania. So an update on the refugee program for South Africans interested in taking up President Trump's offer. Over the past several days, I've received multiple emails from people who claim that they had sent in an email between 10 February and 12 May when the PRM email address was available to express an interest. Remember that there's somewhere between 70 and 120,000 people at least who did that, or at least names turned in. We don't know the actual number. The State Department hasn't released that, but lots of different press reports and anecdotal evidence would indicate that tens of thousands, regardless of the number, tens of thousands did send those emails in. Apparently, according to multiple emails from multiple people who appear to be legitimate South Africans, they are still working through that list. Now, I've told people repeatedly that you run a risk if you don't do a statement of interest that they'll never call you, because we had no indication that they were running through that list. I have spoken to people in the interregnum since the 12th of May until now, late June. I have spoken to people who have subsequently submitted a statement of interest on the 12th of May and have been called, and a few have actually gone in for interviews since 12 May. But I had not heard from anybody who had sent an email previously, that's all they'd done, and they were called in. But now I'm hearing from several people that are saying that's the case. So, first off, don't send emails. Don't send emails. The method since the 12th of May is a statement of interest. If you sent an email previously, my advice to you is still to send a statement of interest to make sure that they know. Because these may be anecdotal cases, they may just be a handful of cases, they may have been cases that were in a queue, we don't know. Don't run the risk of not being able to get in the program because you didn't send a statement of interest. That is the stated way to do it on the US Embassy website. What came before was a proof of concept. Now, perhaps it appears they're using the data from that proof of concept to work through some people. Now, the Amerikaners have published something a short while ago, I happened to glance at it just before it came out here, about what will happen when you get a phone call. Well, that example is a method that may be the case, but understand that methods change, so don't fix yourself rigidly to the description the Amerikaners gave you, okay? All right, things change. The fact, for instance, they mentioned that you'll get a phone call from an agent in the States and it'll be routed through a local cell phone number, very likely to occur. That's saving the U.S. government a lot of money because we're not having to send agents over to South Africa. They can stay in the States and work from here, and we save a fortune on temporary duty, hotels, lodging, airfare, all of that. They can come over when it's time to do batches of interviews or cycle people through. So it's a cost-saving initiative on the part of the United States. Also, some people will panic, and I've already seen this. Well, my goodness, what if they call me in the middle of the night? Okay, folks, have a little common sense here. Don't expect to get a phone call in the middle of the night from the U.S. government. They're not working nights, most likely. This program hasn't obviously ramped up to the level where there are hundreds of people working on it 24 hours a day. So they're going to call you during business hours, your time, or early evening, something like that, your time in South Africa. Not necessarily going to call you during daytime in the U.S. Remember, we're currently 6 hours behind you, so just use a little bit of common sense there. Also, a lot of people have been complaining for a long time, well, I get all these spam calls. What if they call me and I miss it? Well, those of you who watch my live broadcasts have seen many times when I get a phone call, I glance over at my phone because it stays on silent next to me and it looks like a legitimate number and it's important, I'm expecting a call. I take the call, even during a live stream. If you're simply screening your calls because you don't like spam, you don't like being bothered, well, guess what? You may miss a phone call. You may miss a phone call. Folks, you've got to use common sense here, okay? If you're desperate to get out of South Africa, then why are you not reading all of your emails? Why are you not going through your spam folder every day and deleting everything that's spam so that there's fewer messages for you to look at the next time you go in there in case it winds up in your spam folder? Why are you not answering every phone call? Is it annoying? Well, do you want to be annoyed or dead? What do you want? Use a little bit of common sense here. I have Truecaller. Then disable Truecaller if you don't like Truecaller. Truecaller's a spam app. Well, that's not my problem. That's your problem. You don't like it, don't use it. Use some common sense here, folks. Apply some common sense. But it does appear at this stage that people who sent emails in, at least some of those folks, between the 10th of February and the 12th of May, some of them are getting phone calls to schedule interviews. Now, in the Amerikaners thing, they said you'll be called in July. Well, that may be the case for that person who got that message, but that isn't the wholesale case. We already know people who are being interviewed right now in Joburg and in Pretoria. So people are being interviewed all the time. Don't fixate, because South Africans, especially Afrikaners, you have this habit of fixating on the trivial and locking in on the worst case scenario and paying attention. Well, I guess I'm not going to. No, relax, okay? Check all your email, check your spam folder every day, and answer your phone. You can't be bothered taking a few dozen spam calls for a few weeks, a few months, while you hope to get out of Hades. That's my question to you. All right, folks, there you have it. That's a little bit of an update on what's going on. So my advice still to people is that if you did send an email at that time, 10 February to 12 May, make sure you've done a statement of interest just to be certain. In addition to that, stop calling the embassy. They don't handle this. And the Amerikaners have made that clear. I've made that clear. We know that it's being done by the folks in the States. Take care. God bless.